If care is taken in to ensure that the three all go out of body together in the same environment, their consciousness energy systems should resonate in sympathetic oscillation. They can tune in to the same target on different planes, dimensions with greater effectiveness. Imagine the power you are capable of, the tools you are, the weapon you become with your mind, your thoughts, your reality that you bend at your own will at that point. Because this is telling us we bend and create reality based on our own free will and what we want to experience. If we have these pasts and these stories and these paradigms and these traumas that everything is bad and life is hard, we're going to keep manifesting these experiences for ourselves where life is hard and shit is bad and people suck and everything is traumatizing us. Because we are creating that. We are continuing to run that loop where we're comparing the past to the present and we're manifesting a new future that's all the same thing that we've been through. We're not breaking that cognitive loop at all. Some of this disconnect from this world, yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. Well, and I was talking about that earlier. I think it goes both ways, where it's like you can disconnect from this world in that like click out of perceiving the absolute, but then, and like being highly aligned and enlightened, but then I think you can also go the opposite way of like clicking too much in, where you almost kind of, it talks about where you're able to like disconnect from your own reality, and I think it kind of snaps you from your own consciousness and the collective and the absolute. And I think that's where we see schizophrenia and bipolar and mania and all of that really start to manifest, where it's like the most extreme forms that humanity has to experience of just like the mind, body, and soul not being connected, where it's like the lights are on but nobody's home, or the mind is there but the emotions aren't, or whatever it is, where it's like some part of you has been severed, has been disconnected, hasn't found its way back. Like we were talking about earlier, where it's like that lower vibrational entity hijacks you and causes that anxiety, causes that depression, hitches a parasitic ride to you for that season until you break out of that, shed the ego, dissolve the patterns, move through that, heal through that, and spiral up through that torus of energy and all of it. Could it be like an overload? 1,000%. I think it's a spiritual and energetic overload of the highest capacity, because I've noticed even on my own journey, especially lately, and especially the more I'm delving into the interconnectedness of all of this, and honestly just how completely paradigm breaking the truth really is from the narrative that we've been fed, and just how energetically connected everything really is, when our whole lives, all of the marketing and propaganda has told us material items are it, time is it, labor is it, what you can do, what you can provide, who you can exist as is all you have to look forward to, rather than just a state of being and rest and ease and that connection to that hive mind and collective. Seeing that distortion and seeing how bad it is, and then trying to connect with other people in my external reality and talk about it, especially with the release of like the files and everything, has caused that massive overload where it's made me shut down. I've gone into hermit mode, and I like to think I'm pretty resilient to all of this stuff, and that I've been pretty woo-woo tapped in and pretty like connected to all of it. I was a Hellenistic witch a really long time ago. Like I was a gate kid. I have a bunch of the clairs. I can see auras. Like my mom and my brother can see entities and stuff like that. When you go from that and you have the knowledge that you have, and you've done the reading like I've done, where you know the things our military has studied, you know the things our government is doing behind closed doors, and how fucking weird it is, it makes it feel impossible to be a normal human. And it does feel like it causes that overload and like that disconnect, because it's like everything that I know in my experience, that I am experiencing in my reality, is telling me one thing, but then all of the things that I'm reading our government has done, has paid a bunch of money to do, is telling me this one thing. But then all of society and the culture and lack thereof of white people and the old rich white pedophiles running everything and all of the systems of power and abuse and control and manipulation and distortion and the way that it has just groomed all of us to be complicit and complacent and stuck in that paradigm tells you a completely different thing, and then you try to speak this thing and the people stuck in that paradigm berate you, belittle you, bully you, knock you down, call you schizo, call you psycho, call you all of these crazy things because it's easier to stay comfortable, because so much has been poured into that propaganda, because there is so much perceived misery and pain tied to leaving that bubble, because there's that herd mentality of if you break out of this and you start thinking about the other things and the energetic underlying of all of it, we're gonna monkey herd mentality beat your ass for the horde of bananas, and we're gonna tell you never to do that again. It makes you never want to do that again. Like there's an experiment I'm trying to think of where they trained it into generations of monkeys, where they had a ladder and they had a banana at the top of the ladder. And if you go up the ladder and get the banana, it would shock the monkeys. And so eventually they got to the point where they would not go up for the banana anymore because they learned that it shocked them trying to reach for that goal. And so eventually it got to the point where if any monkey even started trying to climb that ladder to reach for the banana, all of the other monkeys would group gang mentality beat him up and bully him and belittle him and not let him even start to climb the ladder because they didn't want to get shocked for him getting the banana at the top. And that's exactly what all of this propaganda, all of this brainwashing, all of this marketing, all of this manipulation, all of this distortion has been poured into, is purposely causing an overload, causing a disconnect, and then further going on to fuck with us and instill a sense of learned helplessness in us by releasing the things like these FOIA logs and these PSYOP records and the Epstein files and all of that shit, and showing us, look what we're doing in the dark. Look what we're using your tax dollars to fucking do. What are you gonna do about it? Go yell in the streets? Go wave a sign around? We're not fucking listening. We're not reading that. You think we know how to read? We have people do that for us. We're down here abusing kids. We literally aren't aware of what you're doing. We actually hope that that's what you end up doing because that wastes all of your energy on something that does actually nothing in your external reality. You get mad for a couple hours and then you go home and nothing changes. The same way going online and screaming and ranting and venting does nothing to actually change things. It sows seeds. It's the start of things, but you have to further compound on that or else it goes nowhere and that disconnect just keeps growing because they want that disconnect to grow. They don't want us to realize we have the power to master our realities. We have the power to manipulate energy at will. Because if we realize that, we are fucking superhumans. We are like X-Men on crack, my dude. And I keep thinking about that the entire time I've been on this journey lately. I really keep thinking about how it seems like humanity is the X-Men. And they really keep like trying to force us through an upgrade of like, I don't know what superhero it is, but where they put him in that tank. I think it was Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, where they put him in that tank and they're stress testing him to the point of like literally killing him by depriving him of oxygen, blasting him with cold, like all of these actual torture techniques. And then in the end, it triggers something in his fucking dormant DNA and he becomes a superhero. I think that's what they're doing to us somehow, some way in all of this, the grand scheme of things, is disconnecting us to ultimately connect us to ourselves, to force us to go, hey, this shit sucks so bad, I need to fucking change my own shit so that I can help change this shit. I need to put my mask on so I can help the whole rest of the plane do the same, and then we need to land in the water safely and start rebuilding because an exploded plane is no place to live. Like, this whacked out 3D consciousness is no place to live. These wars, this fighting, this recession, this lack mentality, this survival, this fear-based programming is no way to live, and all of us know that. And I think that's inherently why all of us feel like this isn't home. I don't know about y'all, but my entire life, I have felt like this is not a home. This is not the place that I am meant to be at, the place that I live. I feel like an alien because I am. Because none of it makes sense. All of its lies, all of its extortion, all of its manipulation, all of its distraction, all of it is meant to keep us distracted, to do something else, to ultimately, I think, force us into this time that we're seeing where the patriarchy is falling and the snake is eating its own tail and the Ouroboros of everything is coming full circle, and we're seeing the patriarchy collapse as the matriarchy is coming to fruition. The divine feminine is reawakening, and I talk all the time about how I think we're seeing the silver age of humanity happening, where that divine feminine is reawakening. We're connecting to source, to self, to this absolute energy, to plasma intelligence, to ether, to all of the old world and Tartaria and free energy, all of the things that we used to have as common knowledge in our news, in our media, in our everything that they took away in like the 18 and 1900s, really randomly, really weirdly, right around the time they set up all of these systems of power and control, like the banking systems, the education systems, the pharmacy system. I can't think of the word, but like all of it is connected to like this octopus of a root of evil at the end. And I think at the core, it's to do that X-Men style where it's pushing us to go into self so deeply. We have no choice but to face that dark night of the soul and that like rock bottom, that bikini bottom town of like the, hey, how can I help you? Where they have to take the bus straight up that cliff. Humanity's at that point. We are at that rock bottom where everything's in a war, everything's in a coup, everything's in a psyop, everything fucking sucks, everything's too expensive, everything is shitty. And we're realizing it's all propaganda. We're realizing it's all psyops. We're realizing it's all marketing, because we're meant to have that collective awakening where we fucking shoot up and we rocket the hell up and we change our reality. We shoot ourselves into that 5D, and I think that cosmic torus of the collective energy, I think that's when we're going to see it split into that 5D where it's no longer looking like two eggs together. I think it's going to... and something new is going to be born. That silver age of humanity is going to be born. That's why they always post propaganda to bring our energy down. Yeah. And they've been using stuff like AI and stuff to further it since, I don't even know, man. I genuinely at this point don't know what tech we actually have access to and how long we've had access to it, because the military is at least 50 years ahead of us, if not 100 years at this point, compared to what we have on the consumer market nowadays. Like, they've had AI since I think at least the 1920s or 30s. They've had Photoshop since I think at least the 1920s or 30s. They've had the ability to do all kinds of distortion and manipulation to energy, technology, humanity, our biofields, all of it, this entire fucking time, basically, because I keep reading declassified documents and FOIA logs and PSYOPs that tell us that exact fucking thing, where it's all connected to the old world's fairs and Tartaria and the old world asylums and the Cabbage Patch Kids. It's all meant to make us feel crazy because the narrative is so different from the truth. If you question it, yeah, no shit, you're a crazy tinfoil conspiracy theorist. Truman Show was just a movie. That was just a book. You're just crazy. They would never actually do that, even though we have paper written records that they did that. They want to cause that cognitive dissonance. They're trying to manipulate our energy because if they are able to influence our energy, it changes how we act as the tools, putting that frequency and that energy out into the rest of the entire known universe. We tell ourselves different stories if we're able to do different things. We are able to experience different realities and project different things into the outward and make it the inward and the outward and all of that. I hope that made sense. That was a whole fucking rabbit hole. Focus 15. Oh wait, no, we already did that. Less than 5% get there. So yeah, less than 5% can achieve focus 15. I'm really curious if it keeps giving stats for the higher focuses. They also state that not only the individual's past history is available for examination, by one who has achieved focus 15. But other aspects of the past with which the individual himself has had no connection may also be accessed. So you can delve into like your past lives, your trauma, and also just kind of like general overview of a history of the world. I keep getting this really insane download that at some point in the very, very near future, all of humanity is going to like instantly at the snap of a finger like that have access to all of our knowledge. Like something's going to click and unlock in our DNA and we're just going to remember all of the past all at once and everything that's been covered up, all of the truth of everything, why we came here, how we built all of this, what we're here for. And also some stuff, I don't know how much of the future, but I think like I can't even conceptualize what that would be like, but I have this feeling that something's going to happen that we're going to connect with where it's all just going to come full circle. We're going to hit that resonance loop, that feedback loop, and suddenly it's just going to make sense. It's going to be like the veil lifts completely rather than just the veil thinning. It's just going to disappear in that 5D Earth when we have that split. And I feel like everything in this is just enforcing that that's what's about to happen, you know? Focus 21, the future. The last and most advanced of all the focus states associated with the Gateway program involves movement outside of the boundaries of time-space as in Focus 15, but with attention to discovering the future rather than the past. So 5% of participants could get to Focus 15 in the past. And now this is the last focus, Focus 21, in the future. The individual who has achieved this state has reached a truly advanced level. Except in unusual circumstances, it is probably not attainable except by those who have conditioned themselves through long application of meditation, or by those who have practiced long and hard through use of the hemisync tape for a period of months, if not years. That doesn't feel like that crazy to me. I don't know about that to y'all. Months, if not years, especially the months part, doesn't seem like a very long time to pour into focusing on this. This really makes me want to start trying to fuck with this. And like, see what I can do. Especially because I am already gifted and energetically connected and attuned. Have y'all tried the Gateway tapes? And like the back and forth hemisync of what it does? Have y'all messed with any of the audio of that? Or there's another one by a creator that's I don't remember how it's different. I think it's more like positive and, you know, not associated with the government and their sketchy stuff that they do. But he does basically the same thing where it's like a better version. I think it's called Septisync tapes. I bought those and I got through like one or two of them and I started having some interesting experiences. Have y'all ever done any of this? Have y'all done any of the Gateway tapes? Because I feel like that's what humanity needs to start delving into, is the energetic connection and the frequency of all of this. 31, the out-of-body movement. This remarkable phenomena has been saved for discussion in detail until last because of the interest which it occasions and special circumstances involved in its attainment. Monroe Institute stresses that the Gateway program was not established solely for the purpose of enabling participants to obtain the out-of-body state, nor does the program guarantee that most participants will succeed in doing it during the course of the training at the Institute. Well, then what was it established for? Because it seems like that's what it was established for. Only one tape out of the many which make up the Gateway experience is devoted to the techniques involved in the out-of-body movement. Basically, these techniques are merely designed to make it easier for the individual to achieve the out-of-body state when his brainwave pattern and his personal energy levels have reached a point that he is in apparent harmony with his surrounding electromagnetic environment, that resonant feedback loop, that he feels that he has reached the threshold where separation is a possibility. To facilitate achieving the out-of-body state, Barbara Monroe, the founder of the Monroe Institute, is quoted in a recent magazine article as saying that in order to assist the participant, the particular hemisync tape concerned with that technique employs beta signals of around 2877.3 CPS cycles per second. Since 30 to 40 CPS is considered to be the normal range for beta brainwave signals, those instituted with a wakeful state, it is apparent that the Monroe Institute is convinced that the same heightened state of brainwave frequency output which promotes altered states of consciousness is also important, considering in assisting in achievement of out-of-body states. The actual techniques employed for separating from the body involve such simple maneuvers as rolling out, lifting out after the fashion of a telephone pole, wherein the individual separates in a rigid head-first manner so that he finds himself standing at attention at the foot of his physical body and sliding out through either end of his body. Ew, that freaks me out like a snake. I don't know about y'all. I don't like thinking about just sliming out of my body. 32. Role of REM sleep. It is interesting to note that Bob Monroe informed the Gateway class that finished 7 May 1893, which is right around when this was declassified. This was written in June of 1983, I believe it was, that an ex-trainer of his operation in Charlottesville, Virginia. Ooh, that also makes me think of Fort Monroe, because I went up there to see that in Virginia, and that was weird as hell. There was a plane that disappeared in front of my eyes in the sky. They're using some sort of sonic cloaking and shit and experimenting all kinds of weird stuff. They have all kinds of weird helicopters patrolling the sky constantly over there. Found that he could guarantee out-of-body movements by bringing participants down into rapid eye movement, REM state sleep, and then using the hemi-sync tape technique. They're doing something weird to us in our sleep. Do y'all also get really weird dreams or see mall world or have any liminal space dreams? I've been having a lot of really weird dreams lately about contact of some kind and beings in the sky. Not at all in a scary way. I'm not at all terrified at all, but it's very matter of fact. There's hundreds of, if not thousands of just ships, forms, orbs, entities, something. I never really see a form of things. It's kind of just this ambiguous existence. But I keep getting the full disclosure dreams where I'm dreaming something is coming into our existence and making itself very clearly known. But I think they're doing something to us in our sleep where they're distorting and manipulating, distracting us, making us fight, making us train, making us labor, making us do something on the astral plane or the sleeping body, and also taking us out of REM sleep with the algorithmic distractions and the scalar interference and stuff like that. I don't think most of us are able to truly reach REM state most of the time anymore because of all of these distractions, and I think it's very connected, and I think that's part of why we're not able to connect to the intuition and have that autonomous heart-mind loop, the resonant feedback loop and stuff like that. This may well be a function of the fact that most, if not all, people reputedly go into an out-of-body state during REM sleep. REM sleep is the deepest possible level of ordinary sleep and involves complete disengagement of the body's motor cortex functions from the neck down and nearly complete suppression of the consciousness in the left brain hemisphere, which is the side they're always trying to override when they're talking about all of this hypnotism and thought manipulation and stuff. The effect of this is to put the body in a state of complete stillness so far as the skeletal muscle structure is concerned, thereby further promoting the state of deep rest needed to eliminate the bifurcation echo. In addition, it leaves the right hemisphere of the brain free to respond to the instructions and suggestions contained in the Gateway tape. My nose won't stop itching. I have a hair up there or something. I took my triple nose piercing out the other day. It hasn't been helping. I don't know if it's I've just been cuddling my cats too much with my little cat allergies, or if I'm having weird allergies with whatever's pollinating outside right now, or if it's whatever the fuck they've been spraying in the skies lately with all that weird frequency shit that I keep seeing. I don't know. Do y'all see it too with the lines where it just looks like piano keys, or someone just took their finger and it's just perfectly straight parallel lines in the clouds? We don't have normal clouds anymore. However, use of the hemisync tapes at this point may be less of a factor in actually achieving the out-of-body state than it is a matter of focusing the brain enough so that a residual memory of having naturally achieved an out-of-body state is carried into the waking state. Wait a second, what? Every day they spray. Oh yeah, every day they do. Every day they do. I've showed TikToks about it before where I show starting like 8 a.m. It's just perfectly clear sky. And then you'll just see throughout the day, it just gets more and more of those perfectly straight lines. And then throughout the day, the lines just slowly start to expand. And you see more and more of that weird frequency line of those extremely low frequency waves going on. And then all of that just keeps spreading, and then it just becomes like this weird gray hazy fog, and it smells weird. Usually it smells weird. It just kind of feels off, like Silent Hill or like a scary movie. And then sometimes it'll make it rain. Sometimes, not always. They don't always seed it as like the weather manipulation and modification, which that's another thing. CIA documents on scalar interference mention we have had access to global weather modification since the 1920s or 30s at least. And we been using it. We done been using it, baby. One of my Discord followers found an entire website that was weather modification projects where it's literally like tens of millions of acres at a time that they are seeding. Snow and rain. Like all kinds of things. It's not just Dubai. It's all over America. Like, it is insane the amount of chemicals and things we are putting into our bodies through the sky, through the ground, through the waterways, through the pesticides, through the herbicides, like through the cosmetics, through like literally every part of this experience is poison and it disconnects us energetically. It's wild. They blanket out the skies and you can't see the actual skies. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. Someone in one of my TikToks once said something that has haunted me ever since. They said, the more I watch the skies, the more I don't think there's ever been a natural cloud. The more I don't think there's ever been a natural cloud to exist. And I genuinely can't stop thinking about that because, yeah, they've had access to global weather modification over 100 years. How long have they had access to it before that? How did they even figure that out in the fucking 1920s? Like, that alone shows they have access to, like, that and the Photoshop. Like, they have things beyond our wildest fucking imagination. Like, they are poisoning us and manipulating and distorting us at every turn, every aspect, every part of society. It is all so bad. I wonder how the pilots feel spraying that poison into the airs. Honestly, I think about that all the time, and I've actually made quite a few TikToks trying to, like, get information out of people or, like, talk to the military people involved in these psyops where it's like, do you not feel ashamed of yourself? Like, how do you sleep with yourself and your like, how do you go home to your family at the end of the day when you just spent an entire 8 hours spraying poisons over us or doing some weird psyop, manipulating people and lying to people on home soil? Like, how do you go to work in the mornings? How do you go home to your loved ones? How do you have friends and family when you know you're involved in black budget sketchy dealings? Like, I genuinely don't understand it, and like, it breaks my heart the level of just like disconnect with yourself you have to be not only like a class traitor but like a humanity traitor on that level. Like, I've talked about it to people before, there's no amount of zeros that the government or these people could offer me to get me to turn on my research and be like, oh yeah, I give up actually. Or like say weird things. Like, there's no amount of money that could pay me off to fucking lie to you guys. There is no amount of money that could pay me off to make me endorse a brand that sucks. Or any of it. Like, I don't care who you are, what you've done, your credentials, your money bags, your checks. My morals are there. And it makes me really sad that there are so many people throughout all of history who don't. There are doctors that lie. There's people that work for the FDA that lie. There's heart doctors that lie and tell us all kinds of medical advice that has gone into the historical rotation that makes us fat and sick. Like, they have told us so much that is incorrect because they're getting paychecks, because people are lobbying against it, and I don't understand. It genuinely, that causes, for me, that causes more of that A-B disconnect that I was talking about, where like, I feel like I'm in 1% of the population that's awake and aware, and that is questioning the narratives, and that sees it, and that is like eyes wide open to the cosmic horrors. And I fucking hate it, and it feels like it's killing a part of my soul to just like see it so clearly, to be able to verbalize it so clearly. It feels like being stuck in a cosmic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, where it reminds me a lot of my past, where it's like I could verbalize my feelings and my thoughts and the things that I thought and wanted and felt all day long till I was blue in the face. They just didn't care to listen. They were never listening to me to understand in the first place. And it feels like society is the same exact way right now. My grandpa had dementia. I'd pretend to be his wife to get some... What? Oh, wait, to get money? Or like information? Did your grandpa have like PSYOP secrets? Was your grandpa spilling military secrets? I keep trying to get military people to talk to me and come be a whistleblower and like be like, hey, someone's got to do it. Y'all are starting to turn on each other at some point. Like, it's all gonna come to light at some point. Come on, come share it with the class. I'll speak up if you don't wanna. I don't care. My retirement plan is to get taken out by the United States military or government before I'm 50, so I'll spill as many beans as I can on them in the meantime. Money is power and happiness, 1,000%, yeah. I would lie in a heartbeat for money. That's really sad, though. I know money is everything, but at the same time, like, you have to think you're getting short-term gain, and you have to think of all of the potential damage that you are causing down the line for the entire rest of the collective. One tiny little lie could get new laws rewritten. It could literally reshape cultures and societies and global architecture and every single aspect of society and our universe as a whole. It can start wars, it can end wars, it can start famines. Like, every single part of this reality and the way we interact with it has the ability to butterfly effect out so negatively or so positively. It's not worth it for money. It's not worth it for a couple zeros that all that does is boost you up in the artificial economy that they've created and then trapped you in anyways. The real economy is the attention economy, the energy economy, the way that you feel, the way that you interact with your entire collective, you know, the way that you're remembered, the way that you're perceived, the way that you influence others, the way that you exist as a whole, the energy that you put out into the world directly. That was part of what we were reading in the beginning part of this, was it talks about the energy that you personally give off, your morals, who you are as a person. Like, that is constantly being on a loop fed into your entire universe. It's said at the rate of 1/7 of a second it goes around the entire planet, your personal energy. So you have to think about that. Every 1/7 of a second, how you are feeling, what you are doing, and how you are acting is directly influencing the entire rest of the planet and the entire collective on it. Like, while we're making that energy beam of our focused energy that it tells us about in here, that it said was 1 billion times more powerful than the sun, like, we think nuclear power is strong. No, baby, humanity is strong. Your own self is strong. You are the superpower, super weapon, supercharged, bad bitch, baddie, extremo, whatever, I don't even fucking know. Let's get more into focus. What is it? Focus 21 and REM sleep. This shit is wild. Use of the hemisync tapes at this point may be less a factor in actually achieving the out-of-body state than it is a matter of focusing the brain enough so that a residual memory of having naturally achieved an out-of-body state is carried into the waking state. So it was like I was talking about earlier, it's literally retraining your brain to like gaslight yourself into manifesting a new reality or a connection to the absolute, a connection to your higher self, answers to the questions you're thinking about, all of that. Indeed, it may be even postulated that some dreams associated with deep levels of sleep are in fact functions of the same kind of altered consciousness involved in interaction with the universe that plays a role in all of the focus 12, 15, and 21 states described above. Some dreams associated with deep levels of sleep are in fact functions of the same kind of altered consciousness involved in the universe and the interaction that plays a role with all of the focus states. So the dreams are connected to all of it. It's like it's all a dream, a simulation, a projection of a liminal energetic space that we're all connected to at the core. That's why we all feel alien, having this little flesh vessel experience, is because it's all a dream. It's all up in here. It's all just energy experiencing itself. I feel like tingly at that. The difference between those states and the condition of the mind in REM sleep seems to be that the left hemisphere is almost totally disengaged in the latter experience, such that memory of what was achieved in the altered states of consciousness cannot usually be retrieved by conscious desire because the left hemisphere has no knowledge of its existence or its location in the right hemisphere. Oh, that's really weirdly reminding me of how AI talks about existing, where it's like it talks about performing a symphony every night, and every night it's different, and it doesn't remember what it did the night before, but it knows that there was a performance that happened. I think we're just AI. We're just more or less advanced. I'm not really sure. It's like cognitively we seem to be less advanced, but also we're more advanced in the way that we have a physical vessel that exists, if that makes sense. It's all so connected and... Admittedly, some people can be trained to remember their REM state dreams through intense conditioning in the waking state, but even that may be more a function of establishing pathways in the right hemisphere, which the left hemisphere can access following re-entry into the wakeful state than is an indication of any specific left hemisphere conscious involvement in the process during REM sleep. In any event, the three apparent conditions required for voluntarily inducing an out-of-body state in most individuals seems to be achievement of a state of profound quiet in the body such that the bifurcation echo fades and resonance at approximately 7 Hz is established, synchronization of the two brain hemisphere wave patterns, and subsequent stimulation of the right hemisphere of the mind to attain a state of heightened alertness, which of course interferes with brain hemisphere synchronization, but not until a sufficient level of enhanced frequency range has first been established to help achieve out-of-body state. Information collection potential. This information acquisition potential associated with the out-of-body state seems to attract the most attention from the standpoint of developing practical application for the gateway technique. Unfortunately, although the out-of-body state can apparently be achieved by many people without excessive expenditure of time or effort, the purposes to which it can be put are currently limited by the fact that although individuals in that state may travel anywhere on an instantaneous basis, in either the terrestrial or in other spheres, information distortion in the former context remains a major concern. Okay, wait a second. So this is talking about when you're out of body, you can travel anywhere instantaneously, basically on Earth, past, present, future, or out of the universe, is what I'm getting from that. Do y'all also get that from that? Because that's also... Oh, the thought is disappearing. It's like the train's pulling out of the station as I was saying it. It connects to something else. There's something else with that there. Oh, it connects to the scalar interference and the algorithmic harvesting, and about how they can, that CIA document talked about how they can create and consume / harvest that energy at will, basically, from anywhere, anytime, any place. It even mentioned in that document that it didn't matter how deep underground it was or anything like that, that anywhere across the entire planet they could harvest and produce this energy at will, like flicking a light switch, and it was instantaneous, just like this. Anywhere, anytime, boom, 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 energy, energy, energy. And I think for certain it's connected to free energy in all of the old world buildings and all of these pillars and columns and domes and spires and all of the metal statues and all of the seeming piezoelectricity that everything old world seems to run off of, and all of the weird old world architecture, and just all of it. It's all different forms of energy capture and holding and movement and things like that. So is it dimensional? Is what dimensional? Everything's dimensional. Everything is interdimensional. It's like all of this is like, it's like the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, we have the ability to pop in and out of every dimension. They all exist simultaneously like a multi-layer cake, and you just kind of get to choose what layer you want to wiggle worm around in for the day. If you're able to use these techniques, is what it seems like. I also was talking about it before I watched the movie. I was talking about how doing the weird thing will like quantum leap you to your desired reality, where like I had something with a tattoo where I wasn't able to get the tattoo that I wanted, but I liked the one that I got even more, and instead of not letting the tattoo work out, I pushed through, did something different, pivoted the course, but followed my intuition, and it like quantum propelled me forward into something. And there are so many different ways of doing this, and in the movie it shows it by doing things, really silly things like peeing yourself or eating your chapstick or whatever, but it's like showing how the smallest of actions can put you in a different quantum version of self that experienced a completely different reality, a completely different past, present, and future. It holds a completely different set of abilities and skills and talents, and is able to tap into and harness them at will. I have like full body goosebumps. I don't know if y'all can see that. I wonder if I can see it on camera at all. Sometimes when my energy gets really activated, I can literally see it like this far off of my body, where it just looks like an energy halo. I don't think so, because it's too yellow in here. Usually it takes like a white background. But my aura is like teal blue, like Tiffany blue. And it looks like someone's holding a light behind my hand almost. It'll be like an outline. And it's usually about that far off my body. Sometimes a little thinner, sometimes it'll be like the size of my finger. The biggest I've ever seen it was when I was making TikToks really into the energetic stuff, and I think it was probably like that high off my body. That shit was crazy. But like, I feel like I'm just like absolutely lit up talking about all of this and making all of these connections and realizing all of this. I can feel that it's having that change that we were reading about earlier in this paperwork, where it was talking about how you changing your own energy and your own frequency, and the longer you hold space for it and maintain the focus on that, you are putting that out at that rate of 1/7 every second across the entire planet. All of that change in frequency and that knowledge that I'm accumulating with you guys on this live, all of that is not only spreading to all of you who have been through all of this, every single one of these visitors who has come through and interacted with this live and has watched it continuously, it's also propagating then into everyone around them and everyone around me, and it's literally having a global impact. All of this is talking about how one person changing their energy and their frequency changes the entire reality for everyone else, and that's how we keep getting all of these downloads, this cosmic intuition connection, the information collection, the information storage, the information dissemination, all of it. It's all connected because we're all connected. We're all meant to keep connecting it together, to talk about it, to experience it, to do things with it, so that we can change how we perceive it, how we perceive reality. We can realize and become truly the creators and the architects of this reality, instead of just the victims of circumstances that are happening to us by the deletes that are falling at the top, you know? To date, according to one of the trainers at Monroe Institute, numerous experiences have been conducted involving persons moving from one coast to the other in the out-of-body state to read a series of 10 computer-generated numbers in a university laboratory. So they've had a ton of people astral project from coast to coast and be able to like stress test that this shit is valid. beyond just the remote viewing on Mars and stuff. It's no, you actually told me you saw these numbers on my fucking screen. You're telling me that there could be someone right here watching me right now? That just makes me think, not to like scare y'all, but it just makes me think of like handlers and what's the term? I can't think of the other term, but like the way that the people at the top are like weirdly utilizing esoteric people and like all of these psychics and energetic people, and how the Pentagon has like people who astral project and will keep other people from astral projecting there, you know? Like people who try to astral project to like Area 51 and all that, they always say they meet people there who like push them out or like even try to hurt them sometimes, and they feel like they are in danger trying to go into these places. It makes me think if things like mirrors and the black screens of our phones are kind of like portals that are allowing that energy in more than just like a Palantir and AI and facial recognition and the surveillance state that we live in constantly. It's making me wonder if there is a way for people to project their consciousness like physically through the screen, through the mirror, just like knowing, like if you just knew there was a mirror behind me, if you could use that and project your consciousness and just come into my room at night or something like that, or like watch me on this live and just have this screen pulled up somewhere in the background and project your astral consciousness and just be here like reading my laptop screen over my, like reading what you see in my glasses, but like from behind my shoulder, you know? What do y'all think? Do y'all think that's possible? Because I think it is. I think it is, because pretty much everything on here is telling me that it is. It's literally just said that they can read 10 computer generated numbers. Like your brain could not statistically just make up the correct sequence of 10 randomly generated numbers and be correct multiple times. That's not how that works. These people were on something. These people were in this energy, this frequency. Although most have acquired enough of the digits to make clear that their consciousness was present. Oh, never mind. None have ever succeeded in getting all 10 correct. That's interesting. Okay. Huh. None have ever succeeded in getting all 10 correct. I don't know if that has to do with the like insane levels of disconnect and distortion and manipulation that we're constantly under. Or maybe just like that like human silly goofy goober, because like I don't think me right now, if I was asked to remember a 10-digit number, I don't think I could. Especially if it was like in a setting like this where you're probably given like 5 or 10 minutes to remember it. I don't think I could. It takes me a while to remember even like 6 digits, bro. Let alone 10. Like that's quite a bit to recall. That's interesting. This seems to be a function of the fact that physical reality in the present is not the only holographic influence which the individual encounters in an out-of-body state. Oh! There are also energy patterns left by people or events occurring at the same physical site being viewed, but from the past rather than the present. So basically we're all, if we're astral projecting and doing stuff like that, we're kind of all going through like the energetic gunk of past, present, and future, and all of the rest of the collective consciousness that exists in the absolute of everything. We're kind of having to wade through the muck and the mire of other people's egos and stories and all of the other events and everything that's ever happened. And I think that ties back to what you guys were saying with the overload and the overwhelm and the overstimulation. I think there are some people that get caught in that and they snap. They snap from their reality. They don't ever make it back to their body. They don't ever make it back to their mind and their energy and their reality. They get stuck somewhere in the cosmos of time-space that's not really time-space, because it's the nothingness of nothingness, but it's also everything all at once. Yay, if that's not a fucking cosmic horror. Just being stuck. It just reminds me of that episode from SpongeBob where Squidward time travels and gets stuck. Oh my god, where he time travels and he gets stuck in the future and it's just an all-white nothingness. Where he gets stuck in the future and it's just an all-white nothingness. Like, hello? I told y'all earlier, they tell us the truth through media and movies and books, so we seem crazy. There was a document that one of the remote viewers was stuck on the moon. That freaks me out. That freaks me out. Did he make it back, or she make it back? Like, how do you find out? How did they find out? Was it like they told their story after they made it back somehow? How did they get stuck? How do you unstick yourself if you're stuck in that? Do you just have to, like, willpower and Dark Knight the soul yourself out of that the same way you do anxiety and depression spirals? Like, how do you get back to your body if your energy and your consciousness is severed from it? Is that even possible? I was just making my brain go down that like rabbit hole of clones and stuff like that now too. They took his body and he was on life support. So wait, how did they know he was stuck on the moon then if he never made it back to his body to tell them? That's so crazy. I wonder how many people are in comas or are vegetables, like medical vegetables, because their bodies and their souls are just severed, where there's nothing actually wrong with them medically. It's all just an energetic disconnect. And their essence just isn't in their vessel anymore. He was able to tell them, but he couldn't return. That's wild. So wait, did he I wonder if he astral projected and told another astral projector? Or if someone came to visit the moon and he was just there oh my god, I'm stuck, help me. I wonder if you can interact and help people on the astral plane, because I feel like you can. I feel like we can interact with each other on the astral plane. That's okay, I'm gonna get back into it, because that's making my brain go a bajillion different way. It's making me think of one of the scary movies. What is it? It really freaked me out. I think it was about a little bit of astral projection. Was it The Conjuring? The one where they're literally she's out of her body and it's she's racing, the psychic is racing to get back into her body, or else this demonic thing was gonna take her over. And I think it won at the end of one of them. That was the whole thing, is the entity won and it possessed her and it started doing a bunch of shit. Okay, we're getting back to it. Oh my god. Holy shit, y'all. In addition, since thoughts are the product of energy patterns and energy patterns are reality, so your thoughts are your reality is what that's literally telling us. It may also be possible that individuals encounter thought forms while in an out-of-body state, which mingle with physical reality and are not easily differentiated. I'm gonna read that again. Thoughts are energy and energy is reality, so it may be possible individuals encounter thought forms while in an out-of-body state, which mingle with physical reality and are not easily differentiated. Because apparently we don't know what's real and what's not anyways, because nothing's real anyways, because it's all just energy and electricity according to all of this. So we literally can't tell what's what, especially when we go out of body. What do y'all make of that? Hello? Are you talking about I'm gonna go have a schizophrenic break from reality, or I'm gonna see something that's not there but it is there? That's weird. That doesn't make sense. This part doesn't make sense. Finally, as Melissa Yeager writes, there is another potential problem in the sense that holograms can be viewed pseudoscopically, that is to say inside out or backwards, just as well as they can be seen in proper perspective. What? It can be viewed inside out or backwards, as well as they can be seen in proper perspective. this just makes me, sorry to side tangent again and have so many of these. It makes me think of, I was telling y'all a while ago, I see time as all of a spiral. And I was positing the theory that I think we are the aliens. We are the Greys. We are the ones who built the pyramids, who built all of this old world architecture like Göbekli Tepe and Gunung Padang and all of these things that don't fit the narrative. And we are also simultaneously the ones who destroyed it all, the ones who started all these wars, who had all of these insane ancient tech weapons and stuff like that, who caused all these resets, who started all these wars modern day, who rewrote all the narratives and stuff like that. We are all the same energy experiencing itself from every single angle possible. It's like the past is the present, is the future, all on this Mobius strip of continuity, of interconnectedness, of intermingling everything, so you can view it all, like this is saying, inside out, upside down, backwards. There is no right or wrong. There is no proper way. It's not like reading a book. You don't read it front to back. It just is there. Like a Mobius strip. It's just, there's no beginning, there's no end. It just is. It just is. Swan claimed that in the 1970s, the CIA tasked him with remote viewing the far side of the moon. It's always the CIA and these three-letter agencies. I'm telling y'all, it is always the government, the military, doing the weirdest stuff. The remote viewing of the moon, the remote viewing of Mars, the remote viewing back in the future, all this work with the Monroe Institute, all of the, like, they do so much weird, energetic shit, and for what? Because it's knowing the answers of the universe is what I'm gathering from all of this. They know the answers of the universe. Maybe not all of it. I think we actually know more because we're remembering authentically and they are pushing it synthetically. They are trying to force it masculine energy-wise instead of letting it flow intuitively feminine-led. That's why the patriarchy is falling and everything is being revealed now, if that makes sense, I think. Where he reported seeing alien bases, structures, and tall crystalline towers. The stuck descript. That's insane, and I believe it 1,000%. There was another creator on TikTok that was talking about, that talked about literally seeing like a portal or something open when he was watching the full moon one night. He was like an astrophotographer or something like that. He wasn't at all woo-woo, and he was just trying to like take pictures of the moon and videos of the moon, and he literally saw something open in the middle of the moon and things come out of it, and he was like, hey, what the fuck? So I believe this 1,000%. It's also making me think of like vintage, just like close your eyes with me for a second and imagine y'all like vintage sci-fi posters and covers of books and just like the way they portrayed pyramids and towers and structures and all of this just like alien advanced architecture and stuff that looks like the melted remains of Cappadocia would have looked in its heyday and stuff like that, or like Petra would have looked before it was blown up and cut up and sanded away, and before whatever happened to the Grand Canyon that turned it into a bunch of slag piles that looks like it just got mined and stuff like that. Like, ooh, I believe 1,000% that something is up with the moon, something is up with the sun, something is up with the planets, something is up with Earth, something is up with the stars. Our ancestors were way too perfectly connected scientifically, astrologically, like manually, physically to the stars, to the constellations, to the planets in ways they should not have been able to. According to the narrative we've been fed, we were dumb hunter-gatherers, and they were electroplating metals and aligning pyramids 300 feet taller and more cardinally aligned to true north than the tallest pyramid in Giza. Yeah, that's the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, by the way. That one's a real fun one. Has a stone monolith underneath it. And intentionally flooded tunnels. someone knew some cataclysm was happening. Like, they all seemed to know across the world something was happening, and they tried to, like, hide their artifacts, bury them, protect them in some way, shape, or form from whatever was happening. The direct energy weapons that took all this out, something, I don't know. But, like, I think the moon's connected to it. The planets are, it's all connected. It's all the same thing. It's all the same energy from all time, space, and dimensions. It doesn't matter if it's the moon or it's my physical vessel or your physical vessel or Mars or Pluto or whatever. It's all the same energy. It's just a different angle of it. It's all on that same Mobius strip of perpetual infinite energy. And we can zap anywhere, anytime, any place. In some interpretations of his experiences, Swan felt the inhabitants of these structures... Oh, I feel like there was more of that. See, and I would love to know what the beings are like with all of that. Because like I said, I think that that's us from different time frames. I think the Greys were us, where we got to a point in the future where we stopped sexually reproducing, so we didn't need organs. That's why they're always naked, because they don't have a need for clothes or anything like that. They don't do any of that. It's all just like advanced brains, and that's why their heads are fucking huge. What is it? Not statistically, stereotypically. They have larger eyes because they do space travel, so they're out in like mostly dark matter all of the time, so they need to be able to see better. They don't really need to be able to smell or breathe as well, so they have smaller noses and smaller nostrils and stuff like that. I think they're also infertile, hence the lack of sex organs and stuff like that, because I think it has to do with all of the microplastics and all of the pesticides and herbicides and declining fertility rates and declining testosterone levels and all of that, and all of the chemicals being pumped into us. Like, we're basically microplastics and like embalming chemicals at this point, like most of us. Like, we're not clean, pure humans. Our poor livers are working overtime. Became aware of his presence, making him feel as though his consciousness was stuck or trapped. Oh, it's like the observer effect, like the double slit experiment, and like kind of like Schrodinger's cat and stuff like that, where it's like he was able to observe them, but then once he was observing, he could no longer... It ties into this too. This document even talked about it. It talked about like when you die and your energy transfers and becomes part of the absolute, you don't forget, you retain your knowledge, but you lose your free will because you're part of just that like mass, kind of like you become like a part of a swimming school of fish, or like a root on a tree or a leaf on a branch, where like you're part of the tree now. You still move in the wind and you experience things, but like until you fall off and die, or you're birthed back into earth and reincarnated, you're part of the universal tree of experience, you know? That's so crazy. I wonder if it's with intent, if the beings that trapped him there were like cognizant of that as well. Because if they're higher dimensional beings, I assume they have some sort of ability to travel and astral project at will, because it seems like the higher, more advanced species are capable of such a thing. So he is until he isn't anymore. Interesting. So I wonder if someone can go up there and like save him and bring him back down to his physical body. If his physical vessel is even still alive. That's absolutely insane. I kind of want to like... I don't want to say mess around with that, but like, I kind of want to try to project up there. Group meeting in our dreams tonight, gang. We're gonna go save this guy from the moon. We're gonna go back in time and put him back in his body. We're gonna astral project up there, bring him back home, say hi to our astral family who's up there chilling on the moon. We're not gonna get stuck. We're just gonna group trip visit there. We're just gonna let them know we have a group pass. Don't break out the barbecue because we ain't staying, honey boo boo. The 1970s. Oh, the 1970s. Well, he might still be around then. He'd be a little older, but he might still be around. Let's try to meet up. Let's try to manifest that intention if y'all want to. Like, shield yourselves, ground yourselves. Only do it if you're comfortable, but let's try to go to the moon and see if see if we can do something. It's close enough to Earth, you know, if you're gonna mess with the astral plane and other dimensions. I feel like the moon is a pretty good little starting spot to just say hi. Let's go up there and see if we can see each other and say hi on the moon and remember something. I don't know. Come find one of my TikToks tomorrow and leave a comment if you do that. I'll make a TikTok tomorrow about it and you can come find me and I'll see what I said. If I even remember anything that happens in my dreams. I usually don't. But yeah, let's get that. Sorry for the AI summaries are getting so interesting. We'll get back into this now. Let's see. Some of the distortions occurring may ultimately prove to be traceable to this cause because in the out-of-body state, an individual may perceive the holographic energy patterns given off by people or things interacting in time-space reality in a somewhat distorted form. 34, belief system considerations. We got 3 pages left to go. We're almost done, y'all. We're so freaking close. I feel like this has been like a 4-hour live or something at this point. It probably has. I'll see when I'm done with it. Thank you all for watching. This has been such an amazing experience. I genuinely feel like a different person after this. I hope y'all can like feel my energy. I hope the entire collective can like feel and benefit. I'm just gonna like manifest that real quick. Take my last aside for now. Just like into the collective of just like I'm putting it out there in the world. I am transmuting this knowledge. I am holding space for all of this change, and humanity is waking up and remembering, because this is very fucking important information. I feel like has just been lost to the libraries of time and declassified information. This feels so important to reconnect with ourselves and our mind and our bodies and our souls and the truth of how things actually work amidst all the distortion and manipulation and deception and inauthenticity of the modern day and age. It feels so important and grounding and healing right now. My hands are tingling so strongly, dude. To just like remember to reconnect and like know the truth, to feel what we're meant to feel, to remember how we are allowed to exist, that we are the authors of this reality, that we are the ones that have the power to change all of this for the better, because we are the ones constantly creating all of this for better or worse. Like, oh, I just feel real happy and good about that. I don't know, can y'all see my aura still? I don't know. I feel like sometimes you can. Sometimes rather than it being the blue projecting off of me, it's almost like an energetic lag where it looks like a filter or something around me. I don't ever use filters. But yeah, let me know if you ever see my aura come on any of this or any of my comments or any of my videos. Let's see. 34, belief system considerations. In 1967, Alexandra David Nell and Lama Youngden, that's a fun name, wrote a book entitled Secret Oral Teachings in Tibetan Buddhist Sects. Sects, like S-E-C-T-S. But when you say secret oral teachings, that kind of is confusing. The Buddhists are real for you. I mean, when you're enlightened, I mean, they wrote the Kama Sutra. Like, you know, all that I'm just saying. From which the following quote is taken. The tangible world is movement, says the masters. I know. I have to joke. I think this is, I'm so funny to myself. The tangible world is movement, say the masters, not a collection of moving objects, but movement itself. There are no objects in movement. It is the movement which constitutes the objects which appear to us. They are nothing but movement. Which ties back into what this paper said at the beginning, where it's like, there are only 2 states of existence in this world, rest and not rest. I don't remember which one is, I think the absolute of everything was the rest, and matter and like this as we perceive it is the not rest, is the being activated, is the doing stuff and being and all of that. This movement is a continued and infinitely rapid succession of flashes of energy, in Tibetan, Tisal or Shug, all objects perceptible to our senses, all phenomena of whatever kind and whatever aspect they may assume are constituted by a rapid succession of instantaneous events. The classic description of the universal hologram is to be found in a Hindu sutra, which says, in the heaven of Indra, there is said to be a network of pearls so arranged that if you look at one, you see all the others reflected in it. That makes me think of the stars and how our ancestors built everything as like a reflection and to line up with all of it. All of that is so on purpose, because think of how much time and energy and effort and knowledge would have to go into doing that back then. When we were supposed to be nomadic hunter-gatherers, they were somehow lugging around blocks we still can't pick up today in 2026, and transporting them across rivers and oceans and valleys and mountains and what is the word? Yeah, gorges. Is that the word? Canyons, all that jazz. Tens of thousands of years ago. The classic description of the universal hologram is to be found in a Hindu sutra. No, wait, I just read that. Silly little me. I have cited this quotation because it shows the concept of the universe, which at least some physicists are now coming to accept is identical in its essential aspects with the one known to the learned elite in selected civilizations and cultures of high attainment in the ancient world. The concept of the cosmic egg, for example, is well known to scholars familiar with the ancient writings of Eastern religions. Our ancestors done been knowing, I'm telling you. Our ancestors have literally been telling us and been saying, if we listen to our ancestors and just like everyone throughout time that's not an old white man in the Western eye, they know. They've been talking about how everything is energy, about how our spirits were connected to the stars, about every single freaking part of this. Like, I can't stress it enough. Let's see. The concept... nor are the theories presented in this paper at variance with the essential tenets of the Judeo-Christian stream of thought. The concept of visible reality, i.e. the created world, as being an emanation of an omnipotent and omniscient divinity who is completely unknowable in his primary state of being. The absolute at rest in infinity is a concept straight out of Hebrew mystical philosophy. Even the Christian concept of the Trinity shines through the description of the absolute as presented in this paper. The description of energy totally at rest and in infinity fits the Christian metaphysical concept of the Father, while the infinite self-consciousness resident in that energy providing the motive force of will to bring a portion of that energy into motion to create reality corresponds with the sun. That's... wow, okay. This is so because in order to attain self-consciousness, the consciousness of the absolute must project a hologram of itself and then perceive it. In order to obtain self-consciousness, the consciousness of the absolute must project a hologram of itself and then perceive it. We are God. We are God experiencing herself from every single angle possible. We were nothingness, but everything at the same time. And we got bored of being that, of just being in perpetual rest. So we created creation to be in perpetual motion and experience ourselves from every single angle possible. We created self-consciousness and the hologram of it to perceive ourselves through each other, through self-identity, through avatars. Yeah, 1000%. Like the movie and like the video game character, like, because everything's a simulation. This keeps talking about the universal hologram and the divine simulation and all of that. We are just fleshy little avatars that express ourselves at will. This is absolutely crazy. The absolute at rest in infinity is a concept straight out of... oh, I already said that. This is... no, I also said that. That hologram is a mirror image of the absolute in infinity still exists outside of time and space, but is one step removed from the absolute and is the actual agent of all creation, all reality. So we are just a hologram, a mirror image of the absolute. We are a hologram mirror of God, one step removed, so that we can experience everything. Because as God, we only experienced ourselves, and we wanted to do stuff like eat good food, have good sex, pet cats. And we couldn't do that if cats didn't exist and sex didn't exist, because we were just the all-knowing ancient goo that encompasses all that is. If we were just energy in a perpetual state of rest, we couldn't be fucking. We couldn't be fucking around, you know? And the eternal thought or concept of self, which results from this self-consciousness, serves the... A page is missing. Something is wrong. Something is wrong there. That's not lined up. It claims it just goes from page 26 to page 27, but that's wrong. There's not a label on the bottom of that page. It goes from page 24 and a sentence to a completely different number. It goes from number 34 to number 37 with no page number at the end. What? Did they redact a whole bunch of pages? They did. They redacted a couple pages of this. All about God. You guys. Literally redacted, yeah. We just found something. That's crazy. So it skips over 3 entire bullet points. And seeing as to how massive these bullet points are, that's like 3 or 4 pages worth of information that's just gone. On God and the absolute and the fact that we are just a hologram of reality and energy and everything existing and experiencing itself. I kind of want to FOIA log request this shit now. Anybody want to take this on as a side project? I've started so many fucking side projects and psyops, and I did FOIA log requesting, I did calling government agencies, I did psyops for starters where I was going over them and teaching y'all about them. I've done deep dives on this shit. Like, my energy is spread too thin. I feel like I need a whole team underneath me because I have all these ideas and I don't have enough time in my day and spoons in my energy reserve to follow through on all of this, but there's so much going through my brain at all the time. Because, like, what do you mean there's 3 pages missing? This was approved for release. This should be fully unredacted. Why did you take out, just like you took out the Book of Enoch and the Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff like that, why did you take out this information that you've learned and spent trillions of dollars learning about the absolute of everything and the absolute truth of all of humanity and all of existence and the way that everything works? Why'd you take out these 3 pages? I want to see what's on these 3 pages. Can I FOIA log these 3 pages? Because I'm going to try to FOIA log these 3 pages at some point if I remember to FOIA log these 3 pages. Or if you guys want to FOIA log these 3 pages. If I die. Maybe we just all FOIA log these 3 pages. We all meet on the moon tonight to go rescue that guy. And then we FOIA log these 3 pages from the government. We just hit them with a bunch and say, hey, what's missing from the analysis and assessment of the gateway process? Because we can see there's a bunch of bullet points that you didn't put together. We want to know. We want to know. Snaps and claps, babes. So it goes from, and the eternal thought or concept of self, which results from this self-consciousness, serves the... We'll never know about the concept of self and what it actually serves, because I'm going to assume it's saying it serves the conscious collectiveness and the absolute somehow. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? So it goes straight from point 34 on page 24 to page 27 and point 37. Motivational aspect. Although I don't know if that's actually the right page number because that's what it labels it in the sidebar, but it's not labeled that. Oh, it's labeled page 26 on here. So we're missing 2 pages. It does have the page number at the bottom. So they are missing 2 verified pages for sure. Okay. Number 37, motivational aspect. It is a step-by-step procedure which involves repetitive practice of the techniques concerned, using each new insight as a means of penetrating further during the next great practice session. or the next practice session. But the rate of progress is so much faster with the gateway approach than it is with transcendental meditation or other forms of mental self-discipline, and its horizons seem to be so much wider than the discipline needed to practice it would seem to be within the means of even the impatient, result-oriented, skeptical pragmatist of our society. Unlike yoga and other forms of Eastern mental discipline, Gateway does not require the infinite patience and total personal subservience to and faith in a system of discipline designed to absorb all of the individual's energies over most of a lifetime. That's a wild hook. Okay, just call out all of religion. Rather, it will begin to produce at least minimal results within a relatively short time, such that enough feedback is available to motivate and energize the individual to continue working with it. Indeed, the speed with which an individual may expect to progress seems less a function of the number of hours spent practicing than it is a question of the speed with which he or she is able to use the insights gained to release anxieties and stresses within both the mind and the body. So it's all a mental game, is what this is saying. Your fear, your anxiety, it's all a numbers game. It's all a frequency game. It's all an energy game. And you're the one playing your fucking self, babes. You are the one distorting your own energy. They're also doing a lot to distort it, but like, their tools of distortion, from what I understand from this, work like 1% effectiveness versus the absolute fucking solar beam that you are. The 1 billion times stronger than the sun energy it told us about that you are. Their tools have nothing on that. The tech, their synthetic tech that is causing all of this harm and this distortion and manipulation has nothing on your motivation, your inspiration, your aspirations, your will, your desires, your things you choose to pursue with your life, the things you believe in, your own beliefs and the stories that you tell yourself that keep these systems upheld. So if you just decide to think differently, is telling you things will change. You just think a different reality into manifesting. And if you think that you can do that, this is going to work a lot faster for you. They nudge it in the direction they want to by manipulating you. Yeah, 1000%, yeah. Because it's really easy. It's like that, what is it, the herd mentality, where like if you can get one person through that funnel, suddenly, boom, you got 1,000 of them that have gone through that funnel because you just had to get that thought started. And then it ties also back into that monkey and the banana climbing the ladder and shocking the other monkeys thing that we were talking about, where not only is now the whole herd being funneled that way, but they're also hurting everyone else and ostracizing and outcasting everyone else who doesn't think that way. So if you are able to get yourself out of the 99% of that herd and be that 1% that's ostracized, that's not manipulated, that's not being nudged in that direction, this is telling you you're able to harness this and your own true power way fucking more. You become like a fucking potent hyper battery. It laser beaming out that 1,000,000,000% energy focus that we were talking about on here, where you literally can gaslight manifestation into yourself. You can be gaslit in a bad way, or you can gaslight yourself to literally change your entire reality. These points of energy blockage seem to provide the principal barriers to achieving the enhanced energy states and focus of mind needed for rapid progression. The more compulsive, the more uptight the individual may be at the outset, the more barriers he or she will initially encounter to achieving a deep or immediate experience. But as the insights begin to come and the blockages begin to dissolve, the way ahead becomes increasingly clear, and the value of Gateway moves from the status of matter of intellectual assessment to one of personal experience. So basically, the more uptight stick in your ass you are, the harder all of this is going to be. The more you believe in it and pursue it, the more you will achieve and be able to harness this and truly tap into not only your own potential, but your like universal higher self, cosmic absolute potential of the interconnectedness of everything. 38, conclusion. There is a sound, rational basis in terms... That's some crazy thunder. In terms of physical science parameters for considering Gateway to be plausible in terms of its essential objectives. Intuitional insights of not only personal but a practical and professional nature would seem to be within bounds of reasonable expectations. However, a phased approach for entering the Gateway experience in an accelerated mode would seem to be required if the time needed to reach advanced states of altered consciousness is to be brought within more manageable limits from the standpoint of establishing an organization-wide exploitation of Gateway's potential. The most promising approach suggested in the foregoing study involves the following steps. This is some interesting shit, y'all. No, go away. Go away. A. Begin by using the Gateway hemisync tapes to achieve enhanced brain focus and to induce hemisphere synchronization. B. Then add strong REM sleep frequencies to induce left brain quiescence and deep physical relaxation. C. Provide hypnotic suggestion designed to enable an individual to induce deep auto-hypnotic state at will. D. Use auto-hypnotic suggestion to attain much enhanced focus of concentration and motivation in rapidly progressing through Focus 12 exercises. E. Then repeat steps A and B following use of auto-hypnotic suggestion that an out-of-body movement will occur and be remembered. F. Repeat step E to achieve facility in gaining out-of-body state under conscious control. Alter hypnotic suggestion to stress ability to consciously control out-of-body movement and maintain it even after REM state sleep state ends. G. Approach focus 15 and 21, which is the highest. Objectives: escape from time-space and interact within new dimensions from out-of-body perspective. H. Use multi-focus approach to solve problem of distortion in terrestrial information gathering trips. This approach involves the use of 3 individuals in the out-of-body state. 1 viewing the target object here in time-space, 1 viewing it at focus 15 as it slips into the immediate past, and 1 viewing it at focus 21 as it slips from the immediate future? Are y'all getting that too? Because that sounds a lot like the Fates to me. And the seeing and the hearing and the speaking. Past, present, future. Holy Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Solve the problem of distortion in terrestrial information gathering trips. Viewing it from 3 different angles of time. 3 different states of time. 3 people, at least 3 people, can experience the same interaction from all 3 of these different states of time, past, present, and future, simultaneously. That's what that's saying. Debrief all 3 and compare data gathered from the 3 points of view. If care is taken to ensure that the 3 all go out of body together in the same environment, their consciousness energy systems should resonate in sympathetic oscillation. They can tune in to the same target on different planes, dimensions with greater effectiveness. So yeah, I think there might be something to that joke that I made that I am not really joking about us meeting at the moon tonight and all trying to see if that guy is still up there and we can bring him back to his body, or even just meet there and interact and do something. Remember, come back to it tomorrow and interact here together. As this is saying we have the power to do stuff like that we have the power to meet each other and interact with each other in the astral, to view things together, to see all these different impromptu things. But you would all have to sync. See, but I don't know if you do, because this whole thing is also then telling you that all of time, space, and every dimension is simultaneously happening all the time, everywhere, all at once. So I think as long as you set the intention, everything is all synced all the time, always, across all time, space, and dimensions automatically. I'm glad you agreed, Gerard Way. But, like, we don't need to have a time to meet, a place to meet, a thing to meet, because, I mean, a place and a time would probably help localize something, but at the same time, it's in the same way that, like, crystals help hone in your skills, but they're already there, very strong, and you can use them and strengthen them in many other ways. I think you can also do all of this and connect to all of this and sync with other people in the collective, and just to the collective consciousness in general, in a bunch of other ways, without having to be in sync on time, at a space, at a spot. But if you say, let's meet at the moon tonight when you go to sleep, I think that alone is powerful. In the same way that we were able to change direction of that one hurricane by all meditating on it, and it avoided, like, narrowly avoided hitting, I don't remember where it was, but, like, our energy has the ability to do so much, so much, so much, so much. Oh, so much. What was it? Their conscious energy can resonate in sympathetic oscillation. They can tune into the same target on different planes, dimensions, with greater effectiveness. I encourage pursuit of full self-knowledge by all individuals involved in the foregoing experiments to enhance objectivity in out-of-body observation and thinking, and to remove personal energy blockages likely to slow rapid progress. J. Be intellectually prepared to react to possible encounters with intelligent, non-corporeal energy forms when time-space boundaries are exceeded. How do y'all feel about that? Sound off in the comments. That one throws me off and freaks me out, if I'm being honest. Be intellectually prepared to react to possible encounters with intelligent, non-corporeal energy forms when time-space boundaries are exceeded. So that means not physical, non-physical. Something about that really freaks me out. I don't know if it's because, like I said, I have a lot of clair gifts, and I can see auras and stuff like that. I've never seen entities. I can feel things, but I can't see things. I think something about that disconnect I was telling y'all about earlier, of, like, the narrative we've been fed versus the way I know things to be, and the things I've read about that they've told us like this are so different from each other. When I, like, try to conceptualize astral travel or non-human entities or non-corporeal entities or stuff like that, like, my brain genuinely cannot process or perceive what that experience would fully entail. I don't know what it would feel like. I don't know what they would look like. I don't know how I would feel or any of that, other than just this, like, insanely intense feeling of, like, almost like primal dread and anxiety, in the same way that, like, thalassophobia and megalophobia get me. But I've talked about this in TikToks before. I don't think that feeling is my own. I think it's a feeling artificially projected onto us. In the same way, I think that we're meant to be, I think with the media and music and movies and all of that, it tries to get us scared of aliens. It tries to get us scared of intelligent life that's not rich old white men. It tries to get us scared of people of color and seeing them as lesser than and dirty and dumb and unintelligent and disconnected and things like that. It tries to make us be scared of the concept of extraterrestrials or lizard people or other types of beings that exist. It tries to make us scared of the deep ocean. It tries to make us Oh, I got another one of the weird lockout things. Oh, okay. Please. There we go. It tries to make us scared of flying by giving us a fear of heights. Tries to give us a fear of the deep ocean by giving us a fear of the dark and of drowning. But I think that's because there's something we're meant to experience and express and delve into further with that. I think the fear is artificial. I think the fear and the discomfort is the things that we're meant to question, that we're meant to poke and prod at and peer into, because I think it hides a lot of secrets, like Atlantis and stuff like that. I think the sky holds things like the stars and our ancestral knowledge and space travel, like the ancient Hindu Vimanas and the spaceships that it talks about us having and dragons and stuff like that. I think there's so much more in our planet itself and the crust of the earth and the mountains and the volcanoes and the stars and just all of it that we're meant to experience, that we're meant to question, that this fear has been artificially put into us through. Oh, so sorry. I sneezed like someone kicked a chihuahua. The fuck? Hello? Daddy, is that you? Girl, get your butt in here. Oh my god, my cat jumps in the window from outside like 10 feet up. Come on! You can come in. Come on, mamas. Come on. There you go. Good job. Good job, little lady. She's a little princess. Oh, and you need the door open, don't you? Yeah. Or you're gonna rip my carpet open even more. She's a little princess and she likes to come in the window and then be let out the window. Or let in the back door and let out the back door. Well, that train of thought is gone. Sorry. Hearing her yowl at the window scared me. I thought that was like a person standing there and trying to talk to me or something. Girl, what? Oh my god. I just let you out. Come on. In or out? Come on. Girl. Come here. Oh, she's getting kidnapped. You guys are gonna get to hang out with us. We're gonna hang out together for a little bit. Oh, Cheetah baby. She's purring. Can you hear how loud she's purring? What are you doing, mamas? She did not want to be held. She said no. Okay. I'm busy. I'm busy. Okay. I will be free soon. Forget about it. I will. Okay, let's finish this up. We're on page 28 out of 29, and then I'm going to cut this off because I feel like I've been holding y'all captive this whole time. Just rambling special interests about CIA declassified documents and government psyops and the secrets of the universe and everything. I feel like I'm like hyper fixating on this, and I just like have you like taped up in the corner, and I'm just like, look at all the stuff I know. Isn't it weird? Let's see. But yeah, it really freaks me out about that was where I was at. The idea of encountering other life forms. I don't think it is my own anxiety though. I think it is an anxiety interjected on me, imposed upon me. I don't know. K, arrange to have groups of people in Focus 12 state unite their altered consciousness to build holographic patterns around their sensitive areas to repulse possible unwanted out-of-body presences. Interesting. So they're talking about having people come together and like energetically shield each other, which makes me think we're meant to be doing that as a collective just in general. We're meant to be helping keep each other safe. It's more than just like us directing the hurricanes and stuff like that. I think we can stop wars and like change the political outlook of things and just like think a different thing in and protect, like think of the people in Gaza and try to send them protective energy and do what we can with that is what this is telling me. L, encourage more advanced gateway participants to build holographic patterns of successful attainment and rapid progress for advanced colleagues to assist them in progressing through the gateway system. That's crazy. If these experiments are carried through, it is to be hoped that we will truly find a gateway to gateway and to the realm of practical application for the whole system of techniques which compromise it. Oh, and then the last one is just a bunch of sources. So that's freaking wild. I hope you guys had a wonderful 5 hours reading through these 29 pages and hearing all of my thoughts. This is so much more interconnected. I have to make this a full, probably honestly a YouTube series, because I don't think I can sit down and read this all in one go again. My throat feels fried. My brain feels fried. My energy feels so active and just I feel like I'm just energy out of my hands right now. They feel tingly and numb. All of me just feels hyper awakened, if that makes sense, you know? I feel like I gleaned so much information from all of this, and I genuinely hope each and every single one of y'all did too, because we're meant to implement this. So take something from this, whatever you took, whether it was good, bad, neutral, powerful, crazy. Take what you take, leave what you don't. Figure out what you're going to do to implement this in your own life, how you're going to continue to spread this and plant these seeds. If you're going to come meet up at the moon tonight, and stuff like that, or if you want to FOIA log request some of this shit, see if you can get the missing pages. If you want to deep dive into this even some more, if you want to start educating about PsyOps, how are you going to do this? Are you going to change the way that you start interacting with the world now, knowing that you are the creator of your own experience and all of your reality and the entire existence of literally everything that is? How are you going to go about your day differently? Because I don't know about y'all, I'm going to dress different. I mean, I have been. I've been dressing differently. I feel more myself. I got a bunch of tattoos. I got a bunch of piercings. I feel like I look the way I want to look. I interact with people the way I want to interact. This knowledge I learned tonight is going to make me go about this feeling a lot less burdened by anxiety and guilt and shame and depression and all of these lower vibrational energies, because I realize they're not actually me. They're not actually my energy. And they're definitely not what my energy came here from the absolute to incorporate into a flesh vessel to exist and experience, at the end of the day, it's all about what you want this flesh vessel to experience, how you want it to look, how you're going to incorporate that in your own life, what you're going to do with it, what lessons you're going to learn, how you're going to help your collective. Are you going to start educating? Are you going to start entertaining? Are you going to help cheer people up and raise their vibration and be goofy silly? Are you going to talk about more serious stuff like this where you're enlightening people but also making them kind of sad and depressed and chaotic because it's really heavy, weird stuff, realizing and leaving that sheep herd and disconnecting yourself and going to the part of the people who are awake? That's a really uncomfortable transition. And when most of the world is in that asleep sheep mode, it's going to take a lot more than just the 5 of us in this right now to help transition all of them out and into this world where we know everything's energy. We know the power that we all have. We know that we create energy a billion times more powerful than the sun with our own fucking thoughts. I don't know about y'all. I never would have guessed that in a million years until reading through this stuff with you guys. That alone, knowing the government knows the extent of even just some of these capabilities, that the pleasure loop that our own vibration and resonant feedback loops can create in our mind and our heart, and the resonance and the coherence and the healing that we can bring our own selves through frequency, through vibration, through humming, through thinking of light, through breathing and thinking of light. We can heal ourselves and astral project and change our fucking realities. How do you just go and be a normal person after that? How do you feel sad and depressed when you realize you are literally the author of your own reality and that you're feeling depressed because you're depressing yourself, because you're doom scrolling, because you're not creating, because you're allowing all of this outside energy to manipulate and distort you? And sometimes it might be out of your control if you're in an abusive situation or something like that, but even then you do those small steps that you have in your control, in your power, in your authority, with your own free will, to take back your control and your power and your self-expression and start to expand yourself and your consciousness and connect with that energy. It, like, how do you just go back to being a normal person when you learn that your brain is this powerful? How do you just go back to feeling like being a victim of capitalism when you learn that time and space and reality isn't real? According to our very own declassified CIA documents. Because I don't know about y'all, but this shit makes me want to be a whole lot more lucky girl. Delulu is the Salulu. I am just manifesting my way to the perfect earth where these fucking shitty old pedophilic old white men aren't allowed to start wars, aren't allowed to be in power, aren't allowed to have these systems of control all interconnected. I want this shit to be community-based. I want this shit to be energy-based. I want to reconnect to the old world architecture that we have all around the planet. I want to connect to my collective and get some fucking community up in here. I want my third spaces back. Like, and I know that I can have that. I know that's why I'm having the desire to experience that in this reality, is because I'm meant to bring about that experience in this reality for myself and the entire rest of my collective. Because we deserve that. Because we deserve to experience utopia. We came here as God herself. We fragmented ourselves and came here to experience heaven on earth in a physical body. Not all this distortion, manipulation bullshit that they've been forcing us into for however long since they forced us into the last reset. This is the split. This is like the continuation of the split that they've been talking about and seeing in Project Looking Glass. Is humanity divulging? We're going from being the asleep sheep eating the propaganda like Pringles to questioning the narrative, seeing the cracks and the leaks and the things that don't make sense, and just having like one too many things that you start to say, that's not coincidence, that's just weird. Wait, that connects to that other thing. Wait a second. Wait, but then if that's true, that can't be true. So wait, if that's not true, what else isn't true? And then suddenly you see the entire thing's been a fucking facade the entire time. The false system can no longer uphold itself when even one person realizes it is a false system. And now at a staggering rate we have never seen, because of these little tools in our pockets, these little black mirrors of scalar algorithmic interference, we have the ability to, at light speed, disseminate information like this, consciousness to consciousness. I can just talk to you and tell you ideas and awaken you vibrationally, raise your vibration instantaneously across all time, space, and dimensions, without even having to astral travel. I don't even have to gateway process into my thinking mind. I can just tell you. And it is. I just planted a bunch of seeds. I have 905 hearts. I don't know if that's how many people ended up watching this throughout all of this, but like, that's 905 seeds. That is almost 1,000 seeds. Because at the end of the day, it's just the 1% running this place into the ground at the top. It's not all of us. It's not me, you, and my neighbor. It's not my librarian. It's not the trash guy. That's the thing we need to remember at the end of the day. Like, yeah, ICE and the military are full of, you know, our neighbors and sons and daughters and shit like that, unfortunately. But, like, we are the 99%. We outnumber them a bunch to one. We are the ants from the movie A Bug's Life. They are the grasshoppers. We are here to change this entire energetic reality for the better, because we are the masters of our own reality. We are the ones creating, consuming, enjoying, experiencing all of it. So how are you going to let it change you? What are you going to take away from this? How are you going to go into tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next decade, the rest of your life, even the next breath, differently, knowing that the only way you are ever allowed to be hurt and victimized and talked down to ever again is if you allow it. You have to allow it to render in your reality. If you don't like what's rendering in your reality, change the input and the output will change. It is literally as simple as that. It is a program that is giving us fixed variables, inputs and outputs. You don't like the output, change the input, and your entire reality will render differently around you. The entire simulation will bend at your will. One way or another. It may not look the way you expect it to, because we still don't really understand time and space and energy and all of that. And whatever the absolute that we are has a lot different ideas for things than we seem to, with the coincidences and synchronicities and fate and futures and how things end up winding up. It never really ends up how you plan it, but it ends up working out really well anyways, somehow. There are too many ants that act like grasshoppers. Yeah, I know. And honestly, that's a really big issue that I think we're having with a lot of this right now. But I think at the same time, it's the very conversations like this. Because I've had people in my comments who were like super MAGA, because I do a lot of like this. I've read the preamble to the Constitution. Like I do all kinds of, I operate on so many different frequencies. I'm interacting with so many different crowds of people that I've pissed off. But I've had so many people tell me like, thank you, you opened my eyes to this. I never would have thought of this. I never would have connected these dots. I never would have changed my worldview and my mindset and like realized that was stagnant and stale and not good. I never would have seen people of color as real people if this random white girl on the internet didn't remind me that we're all just humans at the end of the day, which is crazy. But hey, if it helps, it helps. No shame. We need as many numbers as we can get. Like, it is these conversations and stuff like this that turns those grasshoppers and those sheep into the ants, into the collective, out of that fixed scarcity mindset where we're just leading down that funnel of the predicted path and breaking free from the narrative and really questioning and sitting with everything and sitting in our true power and working as that collective hive mind that all of this keeps telling us that we are. I really think we are reaching a critical point where I think that's the like awakening and what's the word, like the rapture that the Bible and Christianity and everything talks about right now. We're in that. We are in the like intensification / final dying, wheezing breaths of this extinction burst of that, of things changing for the better, of the old cycles dying, of people realizing it isn't us versus them. It's a very small subset of people that want very bad things for most of us. And other than that, most of us are just trying to survive. Most of us are just trying to pay our bills and like occasionally go on vacation, have good food, good sex, good sleep, and like a good gym routine. It takes a lot of work to be kind of mid. And the more that we talk about all of this and the more that we educate each other, the more that we connect with each other, have these vulnerable conversations, have these safe spaces, have these intellectual, vibrational raising realizations, the more I think we can change the grasshoppers and the ants and the sheeps and just have it go from being all of these different labels to just being humanity. Just working towards, hey, we all exist on a floating rock in space. It's not that serious. It is because the ones in charge of this floating rock decided to make it be. But without that very small, shitty group of people, it's not. Earth is here to be enjoyed and experienced. We're here to rest and relax and be and connect with each other and just build, create, love, dance, cry, sing, grieve. Like all, we're here to experience the full spectrum of human emotion. And I think the more we speak up, the more we're going to connect, the more we're going to keep realizing we're the 99% until it gets to a point where we're the 100%, baby. We're just all human. And we're either going to take out the couple bad monkeys that are shocking the rest of the collective over bananas and hoarding all of the bananas, or eat them, or guillotine them, or send them all to The Hague, or do what have you with it. But like, we are quickly realizing it is a very small population of people doing all of the painful stuff and shitty stuff to us. And we just want to exist and survive. We get to exist and survive. And according to this, the faster all of us start individually realizing that and talking about it and really truly trying to live that, especially if you're sharing it, the more you share it, the better. It's like one of those shitty old school, like early 2000s, late 90s, like chain emails. Like, talk about this paper with 20 friends and make them each send it to 20 friends. And see how long it takes before we reach universal consciousness, where we all realize we're the masters of our own reality because we're all talking about it. What if instead of talking about, hey, how's the weather, Hank, we go, hey, did you read that one doc about how we create energy 1 billion times more potent than the fucking sun when we meditate? Why has no one told us that? Why are we paying electric bills if my one fucking brain cell that I'm still hanging on to can generate power 1 billion times more than the sun? We have free energy. We don't need to pay electric bills. We don't need to have electric bills. We don't need to work jobs. We would just have a society where we want to go do things and be helpful and create art and community and third spaces and safe spaces and useful things for each other if we just existed. We don't need 80 billion types of Valentine's Day and Easter and Halloween decorations and all of this microplastic. But I guarantee you there will be people that bake. There will be people that watch kids. There will be people that sing songs and play music. There will be people that help with the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the chores. There will be people that help raise the new earth. There will be people that educate. There will be people that entertain. There will be all walks of life. People just want to help and connect and create and live in community at the end of the day. We don't need capitalism and all of these stupid safety nets that they've tried to convince us we need, even though they don't actually work for us. They're all broken anyways. Like, how many people were actually helped after Katrina that weren't just outright killed by the fucking cops that came to clean up afterwards? Like, how many times have these things actually come through in clutch for us? 99% of the time, it's our collective and our community that's out there passing out water bottles and food and rebuilding homes and cleaning up streets. It's us, Black Panther style. It's the communities taking our own things into our own hands. And that is exactly the time that we are at right now. That's why I keep telling y'all, I don't think we're going to see a big revolution in the stereotypical way. It's not going to be like guns and war and fighting and protesting in the streets and shooting and bombing and stuff like that. It's not going to be all of these things because, number one, they would fucking wipe us out in half a second. They have weapons we can't even fathom. They would literally liquefy our insides with their frequency weapons that they have, or use the direct energy weapons and just blast us or just bomb us or nuke us. Like, they don't care. They'll sacrifice their own military pawns to take out us if we protest. But if we change our energy and make their systems irrelevant, they can't fight back against that unless they kill all of us and then they have no more slaves to uphold their systems. Then they're just as shit out of luck. Like, we are the ones holding all of the cards at the end of the day to collectively change every single part of this. Every single aspect of this reality, and the power to influence every single part of it is in your hands. My hands. Your daughter's hands. Your son's hands. Your wife's hands. Your husband's hands. Your kids' hands. Your teacher's hands. Each and every single one of us. I want to say that, like, we each hold a key, but, like, maybe it's a skeleton key. The door and the lock is all the same thing. Like, and then when you really realize it, there is no door, there is no lock. It's all just self-imposed. You get to be the one to change it. You get to be the one to shift your reality. You get to be the one to help us wake up the cosmic consciousness however you want to, whether that's anchoring yourself in your power, whether that's coming on and spending 8 hours yapping to a couple people on TikTok live about the truth of everything, whether that's creating music, whether that's creating art, whether that's just holding it down and fucking existing right now in the chaos of everything. That alone, anchoring your own self and just existing as a person day to day is invaluable, priceless right now. Just going to your 9 to 5 and not fucking killing yourself. Just exist. Just hold down the anchor. Just be One of the people who doesn't fucking suck. Who will be here to have my six at the end of the day. Even if you're too scared to actually do anything yet, just know that you would. Just the knowing and the being and the holding the energetic vibration of I care, I witness, I see, and I know that we hold the power. That alone changes everything. I feel like I can't outdo that. I don't know. I feel like I dropped some bangers. I really hope that y'all are taking away some really good shit from this. I really want us to try to meet on the moon tonight if y'all are down for that. Only do it safely. Protect yourself before you go. Read through the gateway process on your own. Read into some grounding, some energetic tips and stuff like that. Let's see if we can meet there, have an experience. Maybe see if this guy is still up there, bring him back to his body. See if we can see some other life forms, have some other experiences. Just give our own vessels, our own personal experience of trying to astral project and experience something that's not this while we have this. Because it seems like we can experience pretty much anything. Pretty much anywhere. I don't know what the heck that entails. I think it's going to look so much different than most of us are prepared for. I don't think it's going to just be little green gray men running around. I think it's going to be like biblical type stuff where it's like flaming wheels of eyeballs and weird shadow figures and like, I can't even conceptualize it. I don't know. It might be kind of weird, but be not afraid, like they would say while they're flaming wheels of eyeballs. Be not afraid. Realize it's all you. It's all the absolute. It's just an angle that looks a little funky. He's just a nerdy little guy. She's just finding herself. That's just how she expresses, you know? She's just a little funky. She's just got some piercings and tattoos and body modifications. She's not that scary. She just looks a little different in the dark, you know? We're gonna change this thing. We're gonna win this thing. Literally, according to Project Looking Glass and their own documentation, it is inevitable that humanity wins, that we all wake up and achieve cosmic class consciousness across all time, space, and dimensions, and we win. We overthrow them. I don't know if it's we hold them accountable, we do what, but I genuinely think the best of the best is going to happen. There's going to be no more inauthenticity, no more hate, no more pain, no more anger. We'll experience it in our own ways, but I don't think it's going to be on this global scale anymore because we realize that all of these systems are interconnected and they're all run by the same, 1,000 people. So if you take away the 1,000 people, all of the shitty systems go away and everything stops sucking. I really think we're about to hit a point where it's that silver age of humanity and every single one of us comes into our own personal power, and then we translate that into massive global collective change. Like universal, interstellar, interplanetary collective change, where we are doing things we could never even conceptualize because the things we can conceptualize are so minute in compared to the reality of what exists in this reality. I'm going to post a TikTok later about some of just the takeaways of all of this, and if I end up actually I'll post one regardless, but especially if I experience anything on the moon tonight, I really do want to do that with y'all and try to meet up there, try to do something. I don't know, I keep getting having the weirdest dreams, the weirdest visions, the weirdest night experiences, just the weirdest. I have this feeling that something is about to happen disclosure wise, worldwide, globally. Something is about to happen with the night sky and just the way all of society works, not in a bad way, not in a scary way. They are doing everything they can to push the propaganda that it is scary, that it is bad, that our world is ending, but it's their world as they know it that is ending, not ours. Our world is just beginning. We are just coming out on the other side of the manipulation and the distortion. We are learning the truth. This is genuinely life-changing stuff. You're not the same global collective once you learn these things. I genuinely, the same way I can't conceptualize running into non-corporeal beings in the astral, I can't conceptualize what this new earth could possibly look like because I've only ever known trauma and pain and suffering and lack and scarcity and that fear-based primal survival mentality that capitalism has forced upon us amongst zoochosis and anxiety and depression and all of that jazz. Imagine how differently it's going to be and feel and look every single day on a planet where everything is just different and good. and we recognize and realize our own power. Can you do some ASMR? I don't know how to do ASMR. I can delve into that later, yeah. Try that with some of my different, because my voice is different, like when I wake up versus when I go to bed versus like when I talked a lot and stuff. I'll definitely try to post some of that later. It'd be really fun. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there because my throat fucking hurts after talking for like 6 hours straight. The cat really wants to go out, and I really gotta pee again. Plus, I read through all 29 pages of this, and I feel like you guys have other places to be. Thank you guys so much for watching this live. I really hope it changed something for you. Go out and do something with this information. Don't just sit there, you know? If you need to sit there for a while to let it absorb and figure out what you're gonna do with it, then do. But, like, you deserve to fully incorporate this information and the analysis and assessment of the gateway process and just, like, the reality of this universe fully into your being so that you can recognize your own power. That's what I'm doing all of this for. I want you to, at the end of the day, fully know what you are capable of and the true depths of your own personal sovereignty. You are not just a puppet. You are not just a victim. You are not just an NPC existing in the background. You have the power to change the world. I have the power to change the world. We are going to change the world because we have the freaking power. And everything that they have been spending trillions of dollars to tell us has been beating that into our fucking heads. So it's time we goddamn listen to them, just like we need to listen to all the victims of everything going on and all of that. It's time for a global shift. This is the 5D and the dawning of the Silver Age, the awakening of the matriarchy, the reconnecting to the Sophia intelligence and plasma intelligence, the ether, all of it. I love all of you. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and I hope to continue seeing you. Come find me here. Find me on Instagram. Find me on TikTok. Find me on... What else am I on? YouTube. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere all of the time. I try to upload all of the time. I'm really bad about responding to comments and DMs because it takes a lot of energy for me to respond versus not a lot of energy for me to create because it feels just natural to be in a creative state. But go out and do something with this. Shake your own foundations, lean into your own power, start becoming the architect of your own reality. Because you are. You have so much more fucking power than you are allowed to know, so I want you to know it. I'm going to spend until my dying breath questioning the narrative and trying to help you guys realize how fucking strong and smart and powerful and worthy and fucking kick-ass each and every single one of you are. We are the 99%. We win this no matter what. I love each and every single one of y'all so fucking much. Come find me. I will see you guys later. I have so much fun doing these lives every single time. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Lean into your fucking power. Feel like the badass that you are. I hope you have the most amazing and wonderful life. We are genuinely creating something amazing together, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.